All right, we have Salim Muwakkil, senior editor in These Times magazine. You have a lot of hats.
Senior so strongly.
No, because last time I just said editor, and I got graded because I didn't say senior editor. But you have a lot of hats. You teach. You're a talk show host.
Right.
You write. We got to get Pat. We got to show the book later on. But so, I mean, name all the things you do. But tell the folks all the things you do, man.
I teach. I teach a seminar to college students. I'm an editor at something called Progressive Media Project, and I also contribute to that. Primarily weekly articles. We try to put progressive op-eds in mainstream newspapers around the country. They're always looking for balance, trying to perpetuate the illusion that they're a balanced institution. And so they occasionally put progressive op-eds on their editorial pages. And so we shop them around on the wire, and sometimes they pick them up. And I'm senior editor at In These Times, in which I contribute a column and also kind of oversee some of the editorial stuff every now and then.
Now we had Pat Hill.
And also I'm a talk show host on WVO.
Oh, I had to put that on the screen. Saturday nights.
Saturday nights.
WVON, what time?
7 to 10.
7 to 10. Then you can stream live on VON, right?
Oh yeah.
So we will put up that www dot and all that kind of stuff on the graphics. You know, I'm having a little tea at Pat Hill's.
Yeah, Pat Hill's.
Mrs. Sis place over here. I'm at 75th and Dorchester. That's right 2 blocks from Stony Island. Y'all know Chicago. But we had to bring Salim Muwakkil in just to ask you, in a minute and a half, sir, what is the future of African Americans?
Oh, yeah, right.
Go look at the camera and tell us. Break it down to us, man.
Well, you know, that subject is on a lot of people's minds these days because of the candidacy of Barack Obama. A lot of people are confusing our destiny with his candidacy. It's a political candidacy. That's all it is. It has some significance because it's a unique breakthrough for electoral politics in this country for him to have that kind of viability this late in the campaign. And also, it's also rather unique to have a female candidate who has viability this late in the campaign. No matter who wins the primary, it's going to be historic. But for African Americans, this is extremely historic because it opens the opportunity for Barack to serve as kind of a Trojan horse, unfortunately. He could be a Trojan horse for the idea that we've reached a post-racial moment in this country. A lot of people are already talking about it. They're referring to this new class of leadership as post-racial leadership. Adrian Fenty, Booker, and Cory Booker in Washington.
I mean, your town, Newark. Yeah.
And D.C.
Your hometown.
Fenty in Washington.
Booker in Newark, yeah.
Right. And Deval Patrick in Massachusetts.
Although he's 50 years old. He's originally from Chicago, but that's still that type of leadership.
That type of leadership, indeed.
Right.
That wasn't nurtured in the civil rights movement. And so this kind of leadership is rising to the fore in the political realm. And people are confusing that with some sort of civil rights movement, some evolution or some change of paradigm, you know. And actually it's not really, because just last summer, if we forget, it was a time of, excuse the expression, niggers and nooses, right?
Wow.
We were talking about people who was uttering nigger in public, and nooses were all in the news. And so people were talking about the birth of a new civil rights movement because of this massive demonstration in Jena, Louisiana. And so we can't forget that was only a few months ago. And Barack Obama's candidacy has changed the tone of the discourse, of the racial discourse, but it hasn't really altered anything significantly.
That's why, we're doing a quick interview. I won't get you maybe in a big studio downtown, or maybe we'll do something later in the next few months. I can spend more time. I can talk to you forever. I'm glad you said that, because people have to understand there are always ironies, paradoxes, dichotomies. And so nothing's black and white, no pun intended. So I'm glad you were there to put that perspective on that, as you intellectuals would say, to contextualize the situation. And that's what you do. And so I want to ask you, Salim, is the old civil rights days, are they over? I'm not saying finally over, but that leadership, is it passé?
Well, the new times always demand new methods. It doesn't mean that the theme is changed. The theme is for us to gain increasing power over our own lives.
Right.
To become more aware of who we are,
Right.
to become more aware of our identity,
Right.
and that is continuing. The method might change because the times demand new methodologies. We may not call it the civil rights movement, but that same impulse, that same liberatory motion is the point. And I don't think that ever ends. We're always dealing with that.
I'm glad you mentioned that, because I always ask Pat and people like Pat Hill that what activism in 2008. I mean, I know this is not 1968. That was 40 years ago. I was in kindergarten in 1968.
I got shot 40 years ago, man. This is the 40th anniversary of my gunshot.
Well, we know Martin Luther King was shot. Bobby Kennedy was shot. Salim Muwakkil was shot. Forget the question. Let's talk about this.
I shared two things with King. I was
shot?
born in January, like King was.
Wow.
But I was also shot in a motel in the South in 1968.
What you doing in the South, man?
I was in service, man.
You from Newark?
So I was in the Air Force.
So you was in service where at?
In Georgia, Warner Robins, Georgia.
Well, who shot you?
White guys in the hotel. It wasn't a noble pursuit at the time.
Yeah, what were you doing in a motel in the deep South?
I was doing what young.
Yeah, of course, it's all real. This is like truth or consequences now. This is pretty good.
I was doing what
right. You're doing your thing.
Yeah, and the guy took offense to something I said.
Wow.
You know, I was from the North, and I was.
Wow.
You know, these were the Black Power days, and I said something provocative, perhaps, and the white motel owner took offense and shot me in my abdomen, man. So
right there.
Right there.
In the lobby.
That's right.
Did you have to wait for the Negro ambulance or what?
No, my partners took me to the hospital.
Damn, and you still here?
Still here.
It
was close, man.
The bullet's still here?
I was the bullet's still in me.
The bullet's still in me?
Yeah.
Damn.
I was in the hospital for 4 months.
I have never heard. I've known you for years. I've never heard that story, man. That's fascinating. What? 22.
38.
38?
Yeah,
you are lucky to be here, man.
I'm very lucky.
I mean, but okay. Now you threw my question off. Let's go with this. So
that triggered me.
Did that sort of radicalize you when you were shot?
Yeah, it did. But you know what I'm in the service, man, the service was one of a lot of people don't realize this, but the service was one of the most radical places you could be during those days. Wow. Vietnam Veterans Against the War and those kind of organizations were very strong, and I was a part of all of that during that period. But it was also a period of black awakening. Yeah. And in the service that was very, very strong.
I don't want to go there. Let's go here. Did you do any time, if you went any time, did you do any tours in Vietnam?
In Thailand, as close as I came.
Wow.
TDY in Thailand.
Wow.
Yeah.
But you didn't have to go to Nam because you got shot in Georgia.
Well, I was in Germany. I spent most of my time in Germany, in Europe. Yeah. So. Yeah, but then when I came back to the States, I got shot in the States.
Yeah, we say that because we're doing this this is 2008, and I've been down to Memphis a few times, and I've shown my children the Lorraine Motel, and I'm a more of a semi-radical, pseudo revolutionary type dude. But the first time years ago, this has been well over 10 years ago, the first time I saw the Lorraine Motel. This is of course where Dr. King was shot. It's a civil rights museum now. It sort of shook me up. Because I saw that balcony all the time in the books, in the history books, in grammar school. Then when you see it for the first time, you're like, damn.
Yeah.